this yet, so I'm sure it'll take some time to figure out all those what's going on with that.
And then, of course, you said it's I guess possible that Jake is back come Wednesday against Boston College, depending upon what the doctors say.
Right.
How does that kind of change? Alondis is on quite a roll, right? I mean, he's really been pretty dominant.
Yeah.
How does Jake's return change what Alondis has been up to?
0. Nothing. It's the same as it was when he left. I mean, he hasn't been gone but 2 games. I mean, it probably it'll make us a lot better. You know, we all miss having, Jake out there, and his teammates miss him, and so, if it works out, great. And if it doesn't, then we'll be ready to play.
How far ahead of schedule is Damari?
I don't know. I'm not a doctor, and I remember talking to you guys, and you guys, I was told, he'd be out for the, for the season. And guys, he very well may be now. He just returned to non-contact, which means he can do like dummy offense, or lack of a better word, 5-on-0 offense, individual instruction. You can run up and down the court, but he can't do anything 5-on-5. Now, when does that change? I don't. It may not, for a while. But I think he's progressing. Like I said, what was the word? I think he's progressing. What I was told was he's progressing, I don't know. I mean, I got a degree in history, right? I've seen him. He's moving well, but now he hasn't played elite level basketball in a long time. He's not an elite level conditioned athlete anyway. Let's get that straight, all right? But he's got to get back to where he can do that, But I think the players were excited, when I announced today that last night we had just watched film that he was going to be back for that. They all clapped and were excited, and then he got in there today, and about the second time you and I barked at him like he's been barked at before by me, and I think he felt like he was back now, and so I don't know. I know what he can do. He can make jump shots, and he can rebound the basketball. Can he help us? I don't know. And is that what's best for him? Me too. And that's a decision that he and me and his parents will make if that time comes. And I'm not there yet, but I thought it was fair to update you guys on that. I know you've asked me about it before, and what I told you before is what I was told, and so, but things change.
It seems to be an evolving situation.
Yeah, I think it is, but it's not at a point where I even need to have that conversation yet with his mom and dad. Now they're aware of what's going on, but I haven't visited with them yet because he's not close to being to where he can let's go, you can play. Once you can full practice, you can full play. Makes sense. And so there's some other hoops to go through with that yet.
How much of your concepts have changed versus what he was used to? I mean, how long would it take for him to catch up if he were cleared tomorrow, which he's not going to?
Yeah, he'd be ready tomorrow. He's a smart player. He watches every day in practice. Defensively, not much, if anything, has changed. You got to remember he played for Jason last year. Offensively, he's got a good feel for that. He'd be ready, as far as conceptually, but like I said, physically, he's not there yet.
Steve, you mentioned the shorter bench after the game Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Has there been a guy or two that's maybe stood out to you in this extra playing time that doesn't necessarily just see in the stat sheets and you see it from you?
I think Cam does a lot. He plays so hard. He's so competitive. You guys going back and watching the film, we got a couple tough calls that put him on the bench, and he got a little frustrated, and that's what happens with young guys. But I thought he was unbelievable against VMI. In fact, Dan Earl called me after the game on the next day and talked to me about him. You can't measure a person's heart. That dude is a competitive dude. Carter has had some really good moments. He's really done a good job of running our offense. He's He made a big pass the other night to, I think it was Hadin, or no, Landis on the Suns cut for a dunk when we needed a basket. At times he's shot it really well. He's gotten stronger. You know, it's just the playing time's, you know, a little tougher now because we got more players. I think Lucas has shown some really bright spots in practice last 2 weeks. He's shot the ball a lot better. We worked with him on his arc. He was shooting the ball a little too high. He's gotten a lot more accurate there. And I've talked to Matthew at length about when you're going to need him in the ACC because of his size. And he can play. He can play. Just it's so hard, man, once you start playing to get him in there. And he missed the stuff that he needed to be in, and that's not his fault, you know. And so, I mean, those guys would come to my mind. You know, I've talked about the walk-ons and how well they've done helping practice. You know, and we can get Robert back. You know, we'll get him back here. I think defensively he's an ACC guy level defender, you know, can go out there and guard somebody. So they've all had their moments, but I'd say Cam and Carter, you know, are probably the guys. If I forgot anybody, I don't have a roster in front of me. Hey, look. Probably not.
Steve, what do you expect to see from Boston College Wednesday? What
Yeah,
do they do well?
I mean, I think they're a reflection of their coach, you know, Earl Grant. You know, Earl and I kind of came up a little bit in the same tree. You know, Earl was Coach Marshall's assistant at Wichita before me, long before me. These teams are gritty, tough, defend. They got really good guards that can drive it. They've got some bigs that can shoot threes and get on the glass or +7 on the glass. I thought they really handily beat Notre Dame. So we're going to have to match that. You know, the intensity of the game. We're going to have to guard the ball. We can't get split. We're going to have to rebound the ball. And then we're going to have to score against physical, tough defense. And, you know, we've seen some of that, and we'll be ready. But Earl's done a really good job in taking over kind of a situation that I kind of came into in some respects. And so I've known Earl a long time. I have a lot of respect for him, and I know it'll be a hard game.
All right. Anyone on Zoom have any questions for Coach?
Yeah, Coach. I guess through the start of the season here, it's 10-1. I guess my first question is, what's been the biggest surprise for you guys thus far? You as the coach, looking at how you guys have played up to this point.
Well, I don't know if there's really any surprises because I see them every day. You know, that's the difference between us. And, you know, I get to see them, you know, today's 105 practices since June. Okay, so I saw it coming. You know, early on, I think I told you guys I thought we had a pretty good team. I don't know what that means, but I'm really not surprised by the way we can score the ball just because of what I saw. Now, we've always done well with chemistry, but, you know, they get along really well, and they really like each other, and they believe in each other. And I would say that's the thing. I'm not surprised by it, but I'm pleased by it that they really they look for each other. Nobody's really hunting their shot. Man's hunting it when he's hot, and he needs to. And I'd be mad if he did it, you know. And I've even gotten on Jake some about not shooting the ball more, you know. And so when you have to do that with a team, I think you're in pretty good shape.
Steve, do you think that's a microcosm of what those guys went through last year, where they kind of built this bond that, because they went through just such an unprecedented time in basketball, that they built this chemistry kind of instantly, more or less, because they bonded together?
I mean, maybe. You know, we only got one player really from a year ago here. Those guys, I guess that's not true. I have Davian, Carter, and who else I got left? Zay. But the rest of the guys went through that in their own respect other places. I get what you're saying. And so, yeah, they might have come in and leaned on each other a little bit more, but I think we worked really hard at that on and off the court. And there's some really good personalities on the team. a good mix. And they've done a good job of, helping the younger guys. And I think that's important, really important too. And we went through that in the fall a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I think, but I like to call it shared suffering. I like to be hard on them in practice, so they're mad at me, and then they band together, and that's the way I've kind of always done it. And then I make them laugh off the court, and that really messes their mind up then, because they don't really know how to figure me out. This is the way I like it.
Hi, Steve. This is C.L. Brown with the Raleigh News and Observer. I just wanted to get your thoughts on, we've seen some more COVID outbreaks and everything now. We've seen kind of schedules have to be on the fly, so to speak. I wanted to get your thoughts. I mean, in some respects, are we right back where we started from almost last year?
See, I hope not. But, each day you see the numbers creep up. And I'm not talking about COVID numbers. I'm just talking about canceled games. And even the NBA. I was talking to a friend of mine in the NBA yesterday, and we didn't see those games canceled last year, right? Because I think they were in a bubble, their bubble. Unfortunately, I believe that's kind of what it looks like right now. And so you got to be as vigilant as you can. And I've talked to my players about it, over and over and over, about social distancing, wearing a mask, just being smart about where you're at. But at the end of the day, we got to live our life, right? And so that's all we can really do, and try to, just try to stay on top of it the best we can. And I think we are. But I don't know how you predict it. I'm sure all the other coaches are going through it felt the same. I mean, I felt like that last year. We were all over it. We were on top of it. And then, it was like a wildfire just spread through our program. And so I feel for those guys. I feel for those teams. I've been through it. I just hope that nobody's really sick. That's the issue. And I do think we're farther ahead in that, in my opinion. This year, I don't think, I'm sure people are still getting sick, and I know there's people dying, but I don't feel like the majority of people that I know that get it now, they don't have the same sickness as they had a year ago. My own child, 25 years old, had it last year and lost 16 pounds. So I mean, he got really sick, and so I hope that most people aren't going through that. That are vaccinated, that have a booster, that have the flu shot. I mean, me personally, I have them all. I mean, I'm vaxxed, I have the booster, and I have the flu shot. And I feel good about that.
Do you have any thoughts, one way or the other, on like the bare minimum to play, like Coach Calipari